Hello JoBlo fans, this is Eric Walkuski here with a review of Spider-Man Homecoming, which I believe is the best Spider-Man movie to date. Now I know that's a bold claim, and I've only seen it once, but I think this film just gets the character of Peter Parker so right, and Tom Holland is such perfect casting, that it's pretty hard to walk away from the film not thinking you've just seen the most ideal big screen take on Spidey yet. The opening of the film sets just the right tone. It's so funny and charming, showing Peter Parker's perspective of the big fight during Civil War. Homecoming displays Peter as an over-enthusiastic teenager, so thrilled to be in the position he's in and craving even more. The film is really a coming-of-age high school comedy about a young man who wants to grow up too fast and getting just as many life lessons from his misadventures as a student as he does out in a dangerous world. Thing is, this young man just happens to have superpowers, and although he can't tell anyone about it, he's dying to get a real shot at using them. This, of course, leads him into several interactions with Tony Stark and Happy Hogan, both of whom are tired of being pestered by the kid, who is always asking for his next big assignment. In the meantime, he's relegated to being just the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, which mostly means solving menial issues like burglaries and giving directions to old ladies. But the arrival of the fearsome Vulture signals that Spider-Man is really about to get his first true test. The Vulture is played by Michael Keaton, and he's a man who has taken it upon himself to sell incredibly dangerous weapons to help support his family. With some dedicated henchmen by his side, the Vulture begins to make New York a very unsafe place to live. Not that it wasn't already, and Peter Parker must suit up, discover the baddie's true identity, and put a stop to him for good. Let's just get this out of the way. Tom Holland is simply terrific as Peter Parker. No offense to Tobey Maguire, who is certainly enjoyable to watch in the Sam Raimi films, but Holland so immediately makes the character his own that he's already the definitive Peter in my eyes. He's charismatic, he has great comic timing, and he totally looks the part. This movie just gets who Peter Parker is, and Holland is more than capable of selling his wide-eyed sense of adventure, while also giving him just enough down-to-earth traits that make him a recognizable teenager. Director Jon Watts, who only made the low-budget thrillers Clown and Cop Car before this, turns out to be an inspired choice, as he adeptly handles the comedy stuff and the superhero stuff with no problem at all. The pacing of the film is spot on, as neither of the two genres get the short shrift. It's all plotted out quite well. The action is very well choreographed, and as the movie goes on, the stakes grow higher, and the threat the Vulture poses becomes very real and very scary. Perhaps the most suspenseful scene in the film doesn't even involve any costumes or CGI, just two people talking, and it's a real standout moment in this entire series. If I do have a problem with Homecoming, it's with the villain's motives. Michael Keaton is very good as the Vulture, and we believe that he's slightly unhinged, but not necessarily an evil man. But when it comes to why he's doing what he's doing, it's just a little hard to swallow. I guess I should be grateful he's not just another villain hell-bent on wiping out humanity or ruling the galaxy. He's essentially just a family man trying to get by, but I gotta believe there are easier ways to do that before you resort to super-villainy. Not a big deal though, because this is Spider-Man's movie through and through, and he is great fun to watch. The supporting cast is good as well, with Jacob Batalon stealing a lot of scenes as Peter's friend and right-hand man Ned. He gets a lot of well-earned laughs. Also surprisingly funny is Zendaya, in a small but important role as one of Peter's classmates. I'll be honest, I barely know who Zendaya is, but what I did know about her didn't lead me to believe she'd do so well in a role that asked her to be snarky and sardonic. And of course, Robert Downey Jr. gets to do his thing as Tony Stark, who isn't in the movie as much as you might assume, but naturally he's always a welcome presence. Jon Favreau's Happy has far more screen time, and he's a good foil for Peter. Peter has another sidekick of sorts in the form of Karen, voiced by Jennifer Connelly. Karen is basically Spider-Man's version of Jarvis, and she and Peter have a few fairly interesting interactions. I'll be honest, the more I think and talk about Spider-Man Homecoming, the more I like it. It's definitely in the top echelon of Marvel movies, up there with the first Guardians and the Winter Soldier, which still might be my favorite two superhero movies of all time. I do predict Homecoming will quickly become a lot of people's favorite Marvel film, and that Spider-Man himself will become an all-time great movie character. I'm going to swing away and give Homecoming a 9 out of 10. It's one of my favorite films of the year so far. And that's all for now, until next time.